Hi, everyone. This is Chelsea from It Came from the Maritimes. I'm jumping in at the top of the episode because Evan and I have an exciting announcement. We've decided to start a Patreon. This way we can offer some more spooky bonus content related to our podcast. We're going to be keeping it simple. We have 2 tiers. We have a $1.50 a month tier where we'll be offering a newsletter where we share sneak peeks at upcoming episodes and sneak peeks at our events, a little bit of bonus content. And we'll also have a $5 tier where we're going to be sharing posts about different content, kind of deeper dives into each episodes, book recommendations, folklore stories from the rest of Canada, not just our beautiful Atlantic Canadian provinces. If you're interested, please check it out at patreon.com/itcamefromthemaritimespodcast. You can find the link on our social media. We're just so grateful for any little bit of support folks can offer. Now, we have a little treat for you next. We're going to be sharing at the beginning of our full-length episodes just short little promos for some of our favorite indie podcasts, so you can get a taste of some other spooky podcasts out there as we head into the autumn months. Thank you so much for listening, and we hope you enjoy this episode. We had a lot of fun recording it.
Maple syrup and being polite. I'm Valerie, host of Canadian Creepies, the podcast that digs up stories polite history would rather forget. Cold cases that never found justice, haunted places that refuse to stay quiet, and folklore with a dark side you've probably never heard. If true crime, paranormal mysteries, and unsettling Canadian history are your thing, you'll want to tune in. New episodes every week wherever you get your podcasts. Canadian Creepies, exploring and exposing the shadows of the true north.
From folklore and fairies
to monsters and mysteries, it came from the Maritimes.
Tiptoeing through the tulips. My co-host, Evan.
Drinking 3 Bloody Marys in front of a mirror. My co-host, Chelsea.
He's not wrong. Hi, everyone. Welcome to It Came from the Maritimes, an Atlantic Canada folklore podcast. It's the beginning of September. We're just around the corner from that crisp fall bite returning to the morning air, and the days are just starting to shorten after the summer months. Evan's Highway 101 road trip episode was so successful that we're going to share another spooky road trip itinerary with you, this time for the Highway 103. Now, this is by no means all-inclusive, but we will cover all of the spooky locations we've visited in our episodes, some spooky recommendations for things to do as we approach the Halloween season, and suggestions for some of our favorite shops and restaurants en route. Same as before, make sure you follow us on social media for a link to a road trip map and photos of these destinations. Evan, are you ready for this wild ride?
I really am.
Now, for those who are not as familiar with Nova Scotia roads as we are, Highway 103 is also known as the Fisherman's Memorial Highway, and it's the road that runs from Halifax to Yarmouth along the south shore of our beautiful province. It will take you to some of my favorite destinations in the province, but please be warned. The highway alternates between double and single lanes, and for some reason, even the slowest of Nova Scotia highway drivers will speed up to 120 kilometers an hour once they hit the pass zones, even if they've been going 80 kilometers the entire way. So it is a beautiful drive, but also infuriating. Evan, have you encountered that Nova Scotian phenomenon?
Yes, that's the classic. You're going like 60 kilometers an hour, and then like as soon as you can pass the person, they're like, ooh, let's go as fast as I can.
Right. I know, just a few weeks ago, producer Jeff and I did a road trip along the South Shore, and there was this one rusty old pickup truck that we were following, and I kid you not, going 75 an hour in the single lane. And as soon as we went to pass, this person decided it was a race. So we followed them for a very, very long time.
Love that.
So our first stop is right outside the city of Halifax. You know, when you're on a road trip before you hit the highway, you want to fill up the gas tank and grab a coffee for the road. So why not stretch your legs at the Bears Lake Mystery Walls from episode 4? Just behind the Metro Self-Storage, off of Chain Lake Drive, sits a mysterious stone ruin dating back to the late 1700s, whose origins are unknown. Start your day with a short hike to see the 5-sided building remnants, the long stone wall and stone staircase, and marvel at this mystery, wondering who built the structure and why. Theories range from Vikings and knights to the military and maybe even farmers. Now, I would like to point out that we recently had a fire in the area, so make sure you check that you are allowed to visit the area before you go, but hopefully by the time this episode releases, or by the time you happen to listen to it, it's all safe to explore again.
Depending on things, I've heard that you might not be able to go into the woods much until October, so
We're doing this road trip for Halloween anyway, so...
Oh, perfect. The Halloween road trip.
Exactly. Now, as you leave Halifax and start your journey along the Highway 103, you might choose to stop at the iconic Peggy's Cove Lighthouse. Now, we haven't covered this yet, but it's rumored to have its own spirit, the Blue Lady, often seen gazing out at the water from those infamous black rocks. And if it is time to stop for lunch, stop by the Forecastle Tavern in Chester. Sorry if I mispronounced that. It's known for its delicious brews and bites, and apparently being home to the ghost of a horse. I've had their nachos, very enjoyable. Have not personally witnessed the ghost horse, but hey, you never know.
I'm trying to, in my head, combine a neigh with a boo.
Hey, ooh. Was that good? You've got me scared.
Exactly. Ghost of a horse, I'm intrigued.
Right. Now, our next stop is a famous destination in Nova Scotia, known worldwide thanks to the countless books written on the topic and the reality TV show filmed there. Oak Island, discussed by Evan in episode 7, is thought to be the location of a buried treasure associated with a deadly curse. Many have attempted to find the riches thought to be buried there, but none have been successful so far. 6 have even lost their life searching for it. Many think this could be the treasure of the infamous pirate Captain Kidd, but numerous theories abound. And please listen to our episode to hear Evan share all of those. Several spirits protect this treasure, ranging from a man in a red coat to a dog with eyes that glow like coals. Now, Oak Island is currently closed to the public while they search for the buried treasure there, but there are still ways to enjoy this haunted destination. If you want to spoil yourself, stay at the nearby Oak Island Resort to enjoy a view of the island and get a closer look from the water on a cruise with Salty Dog Sea Tours from May to November. We've also heard whispers that there is a new tour on Oak Island these days, so we'll provide more info as we find it, or please send it our way if you've got any details about it yourself.
I was about to say, I've heard that there's tours, but I tried going to the website and I could not get in anywhere, so I don't know if it was just booked up or like it just didn't even give me an option to book anything on their website, so I can't say.
Yeah, I had a similar experience, so we're keeping our eyes on it, folks, so we'll let you know if there's any updates. Now, on a trip along the South Shore, a stop in Mahone Bay is always worthwhile. This town is beautiful to visit year-round, but if you're going to be there from September 26th to October 13th, you'll be able to take in the famous Scarecrow Festival. Locals make incredible scarecrows ranging from famous characters to scary creations. Also, a new year-round destination has opened up, the Fairy Trails of Mahone Bay. Evan, I know you visited recently. Want to tell us a bit about it?
Yeah, so they've set up a bunch of little, what they call like fairy houses and fairy buildings around, and you can get little maps from around the town. You start in this little park, and then it kind of leads you through trails that go around the town there in a circle. It was really cute. There's little toy fairies in some of them. They're made of like teapots and natural things and all of that. While Allie and I were going around, we saw a little girl who was just running around. She was probably like 6 or 7 years old, and she was so excited. She was pointing to each one and just being like, I bet a fairy lives here. It's really cute, and I'm thinking back to like when you were a kid, and I think you would have been that little girl.
Oh yeah, honestly, folks, if you see a 30-something-year-old woman running around saying, I bet a fairy lives there, it's probably me, 9 out of 10 chance.
Oh yeah, and it's really cute. And I mean, there was a kid, but there was also an adult going around, and he had like a little statue of a gnome, I guess, that he was putting in different places and getting pictures of too. So
I love that.
I get a lot of people are having fun around there.
Oh, I can't wait to check it out myself. And I know for a fact that because the trails do go through the town, it is still open even while the woods are closed. So it is a fun destination if you want a little walk without breaking rules.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're never far from the buildings of the town.
Yeah. Now, while you're in Mahone Bay, you want to keep your eyes on the water. Maybe you'll be the next one to catch a glimpse of the young Teaser, an apparition of a ship that burned in the bay in 1813 that will be covering down the road. And if you haven't eaten yet, make sure you stop by Oh My Cod for a bite to eat. Fun name, great food. I had their lobster poutine a few years ago. Oh my goodness, I still think about it.
I haven't been myself, but I know Allie went once and she had a good meal there.
Yeah. I feel like you can't go wrong with the food choices.
Yeah.
Like anywhere along the South Shore.
Can I add something to your Mahone Bay list
I
while we're here?
insist.
I know there's I guess it's a vintage market, 4 Points Vintage Market, and then there's another vintage shop pretty close by, and those are some great places to get some books. We've had a recent post on there where I had a big old stack of books. There's some great folklore books. I never walk out of there without spending some cash.
Oh, excellent. I'll add it to our list.
Perfect.
So, I love all of Nova Scotia, but Lunenburg just might be one of my favorite spots. It's full of fantastic restaurants, fun shops, and it also has a very spooky history. If you're looking for a bite to eat, because at this point, this is equal parts spooky podcast episode and food recommendations, I'd like you to check out the Salt Shaker Deli. They have really good food and a great view from the patio. Also, when I'm in Lunenburg, I always stop by Lunenburg Bound for local books.
I'm a big fan of Lunenburg Bound, and then there's also Block Shop Books down the road, and they both have a really good selection. A South Shore day for me is probably going to be eating at the Salt Shaker Deli. I mean, also back to Mahone Bay, stopping in at the Famous Town Pies for an appetizer, you know.
Of course.
And then going to a couple of places and buying a bunch of books.
Perfect day.
Exactly.
If you want to explore surrounding Lunenburg, there's a place called the Oven Sea Caves, and it's really cool. If anyone saw the TV show Lock and Key, those were the caves used in the TV show. And there's also a lovely short hike in the area, Gaff's Point off of Hurdles Beach, so I'd highly recommend that.
I was a fan of Lock and Key. I mean, I was a fan of the comics before I even watched the show, and I remember watching the show and then being like, oh, that's Lunenburg. And then like at one point I was like, yeah, that's like the ice cream shop, and I was like, oh, that's like the Subway sandwich shop. Like,
oh yeah, like you can see all the local spots. It's really cool. Now, if you choose to stay in Lunenburg for the night, you might want to confirm if you're staying in one of the haunted inns. One of the most famous is the Boscawen Inn. Once again, sorry if I mispronounced it. It is now a private residence, but it did welcome guests for years. You can't stay there anymore, but the architecture can still be admired from the outside. You want to keep your eyes on the houses in this town. Many are adorned with the classic Lunenburg bump, which we'll be discussing more in a future mini episode. I always feel like the best way to enjoy Lunenburg and work off all that delicious South Shore food you're eating is to wander its hilly streets if you're able. From the waterfront, if you walk up Duke Street, you can marvel at St. John's Anglican Church, a Gothic-style church established in 1753. From there, if you stroll down to Cullback Street, you can see the striking Lunenburg Academy, a Victorian-style building sitting on the site of the former Gallows Hill. It's known for its many spirits, and it's no wonder why. Now, right next door is the Hillcrest Cemetery. We've chatted about this multiple times in past episodes. This is the location of the unmarked resting place of the vicious Lunenburg werewolf who Evan discussed in episode 9, a man who resorted to nefarious deeds in the 1700s. So make sure while there you're listening for howls in amongst the gusts of wind. It's also home to the sweet spirit of Sophia, a young girl who passed away from a broken heart in the 1800s after being falsely accused of a crime. Her grave is easy to spot, surrounded by a chain holding a sculpted broken heart and plaques sharing her sad tale. If you hear giggling, it's likely Sophia and her sisters playing around the gravesite. For a more detailed walking tour of Lunenburg, make sure you check out Lunenburg Walking Tours. They have a haunted nighttime tour. I did this tour on a rainy summer night a few years ago, and it was fantastic. I do want to share a short story about this tour. It was pouring rain the night that Jeff and I did it, but the tour guide was a trooper, said she brought umbrellas, so we were able to still enjoy it. But the rain picked up towards the end, so we wrapped up and we started sprinting back to the hotel we were staying at because it was pouring rain and thundering at that point. As soon as we opened the door to our inn, which we had just learned was one of the haunted ones, the power shut off and we were left in complete darkness.
Jeez,
the entire town went dark.
That would get you right after a ghost tour.
Oh, I let out the most blood-curdling scream. Like, it startled me so badly. So yeah, not ideal after having just finished the ghost tour, but it definitely added to the ambiance of the evening.
I gotta say, just as a general thing, I love Lunenburg. It's just such a great place. I know we have a collection of photos of me in the giant lobster trap down by the waterfront, by the Fisheries Museum. There's probably one of me from like almost every year dating back to childhood. So,
Oh yeah, I made my husband take one of me a few years ago, and there were a lineup of children, and I was like, I'm getting right in this lineup. You can't shame me.
Oh, I had Allie take one of me a few weeks ago. So,
All right, we'll need to share these most recent ones to the Instagram.
I am striking a bit of a pose, so
Oh,
be
excellent.
ready.
Can't wait to see it. So, if you listen to our third episode, you'll know that the South Shore isn't just home to spirits, but curious creatures as well. Just off the Highway 103, about 20 minutes past Bridgewater, is the small town of Crosstown. It's close to the popular Rissers and Crescent beaches, so feel free to stop by and dip your toe in the icy Atlantic Ocean. Fun fact, you are allowed to drive on Crescent Beach, so if your car is capable, feel free to give that a go. Now, the woods of the area are known for the Crosstown canary, a giant blackbird that attacked at least 2 people in 2008. Is it a cormorant that got swept inland? Or a preserved prehistoric bird? Keep your eyes peeled and maybe you'll be the next one to spot it.
I will say, before you move on, the Nova Scotia Bird Society usually once or twice a year will do a little field trip down there. So it's good to check out their website for their events if you're interested in birds. You don't even need to be a member to go on the trip, but I think the membership is like $20 a year or like a lifetime for like $100 or something.
That's a deal at twice the price.
Well, that's the thing. I feel guilty. I haven't bought the lifetime one because I figure I have more than 5 years of me in the in the group. So just out of guilt, I don't. But it's a really great event. So hopefully they're still running that and people can check it out in the future.
That's it. Then you can scope out normal Nova Scotia bird species, not just the giant cryptid ones.
And you might even see Olev around.
That's it, a little celebrity sighting. Now, since you're in the area, try some local wine or cider if that's your thing at Petite Riviere Vineyards, or travel down the road to LaHave River Books to check out some more local finds. Now, if you continue down the 103, you'll reach the beautiful White Point Beach Resort. You can stay in one of their incredible oceanfront accommodations to take advantage of their white sand beach and enjoy a delicious meal while you're there. They also have bunnies hopping all over the place. When I was there in July, there was like the tiniest baby bunny living right outside of our cottage, and it was the sweetest thing I've ever seen.
That's adorable.
I loved it. I was just peeking outside the windows all day when we were inside. Now, the ghost of Ivy, the wife of the former owner who managed the dining hall, used to be spotted in the old main lodge or heard playing the piano late at night. No one has seen her since a fire destroyed the main lodge in 2011, but maybe you'll be the first. Other spirits spotted around the resort are the ghost of Danny, a former groundskeeper, and the unnamed spirit of a young man who is suspected to have drowned nearby. There's also rumors that the nearby town of Liverpool has bodies buried under the streets from back in the day. So we'll be covering that down the road for sure. Now, when we went to White Point growing up, we always stopped by Seaside Seafoods for fish and chips and a milkshake. And I just went a month ago and it stood the test of time, so don't miss out. They also now include a piece of lobster in their seafood platter, so very decadent.
Oh my. On the way back from not the Crosstown, but a different bird watching tour.
As you do.
Down in Barrington a couple of years ago, we stopped in there and I love a good plate of clams and they're always great there.
Oh, so good. They also have other things that are a good deal. Like my husband went recently and he got a giant plate of chicken fingers and fries for $8. So you just don't find deals like that anymore.
Jeez, that's a great price.
It was. So your next destination along the South Shore is towards the southern tip of the province. If you need to stretch your legs on the route, though, stop by the Keji Seaside Adjunct. There's a beautiful loop that takes you along the coast. It's about 9 kilometers. Or if you want a shorter jaunt, you can walk into one of the beaches to enjoy the view. Now, there are many black bear sightings in the area, so make sure you are aware of that.
I'm glad you gave the shorter option because I was like, oh yeah, stretch my legs. Classic, just a little 9K.
Right, just a little 2-hour hike.
No big deal.
No, if you need a refreshment and have a designated driver on hand, Shelburne is home to Boxing Rock Brewing, which has one of my favorite local beers, the Hunky Dory Pale Ale, which is fun, maritime name. What more do you want?
I was about to say, love the name. Never actually tried the beer yet, but...
The name alone is worth a stop.
Exactly.
Now, about an hour down the highway, you'll exit to the Old Trunk 3 Road and follow it to the Shag Harbor Incident Society UFO Interpretive Center. It's a small but mighty museum and a yellow house containing memorabilia, newspaper articles, and first-hand accounts of the Shag Harbor UFO incident, which took place in 1967, when a mysterious craft with bright lights was witnessed by many people before plunging into the harbor. Just a few minutes down the road is the Shag Harbor UFO crash site, where you can take your photo with an alien lobster statue, and who doesn't want to do that?
I think that they should bring the Lunenburg giant lobster trap over there and catch them.
Oh, right? That would be a wicked combo. If you've already timed your road trip for early October to visit the Mahone Bay Scarecrows, why not make your way down to the Shea Harbor UFO Expo taking place from October 3rd to 5th this year? It's a 3-day event loaded with interesting speakers and events, and we're hoping to attend in the future. I use the royal we there, but I'm assuming Evan's on board.
I'm on board.
So when you drive another 45 minutes, you'll reach Yarmouth and enjoy the coastal views along the way. You can stop by the Hawk Beach on Cape Sable Island to explore the 1,500-year-old drowned forest, which are petrified tree stumps you can see at low tide. Make sure you keep your eyes on the water to look for the Cape Sable serpent, a sea creature spotted 4 times between 1976 and 1997, which Evan discussed in episode 35. I know Evan will also attest to it being a fantastic birding destination.
Oh yeah, that area is really great. I love birds.
Can you tell, folks? If you want to enjoy some local history, go to the Yarmouth County Museum and Archives, which is rumored to be the location of its own spooky encounters. While there, check out the Yarmouth Runic Stone, a large rock covered in mysterious markings whose origins are still unknown to this day. We discussed it in a recent mini-episode. Other notable stops include the old Yarmouth County Jail and Frost Park, which have had their own spectral sightings. Our final stop on this road trip is where Evan wrapped up his Highway 101 destination. It's where the 2 roads meet. Darling's Lake, which is known for a woman in white haunting its shores, and the nearby Churchill Inn, which is now privately owned, so be respectful. But it was once considered one of the most haunted inns in the province. So anywhere else you can think of, Evan, to stop en route?
Jeez, I mean, that was a pretty complete list. Like I said earlier, I love Famous Town Pies in Mahone Bay. Got our wedding cake from there.
It was delicious.
Don't know if it's still around, but I know a while ago I was there and they had a hodgepodge pie, and that was truly delicious.
A Nova Scotian delicacy, people.
And then, honestly, the whole South Shore is just beautiful. It's just a really nice drive. So many great places to see.
Oh, it really is. That's our Highway 103 road trip. So at this point, you've got a long drive home unless you've booked one of the spooky inns along the way to rest. As I mentioned, this is by no means all-inclusive, but it does highlight locations we've discussed and hinted at a few of our future topics. But if you do have any recommendations for other places to visit along the South Shore, please always send them our way. Now, we have a short segment. I know this was already a bit of a longer episode, but I wanted to share a story about another haunted highway in Nova Scotia. The Old Branch Road in North Sydney, Nova Scotia, is an area where, when people drive along it late at night, they report having an eerie feeling. The wind picks up and their vehicle shut off suddenly. Sadly, it seems that there's a nearby hanging tree in which many have taken their own lives, and nothing lives where it grows. In the 1970s, a couple's car broke down there and they sadly both got lost and lost their lives in the icy weather. So it's a very spooky road. So it's not the only haunted highway in Canada. The Ghost Road in Port Perry, Ontario is known for its own mysterious occurrences, such as lights seen at the height of headlights and cars feeling like they're losing control or their car battery suddenly draining, or the Keeping Road in Abbotsford, British Columbia, where people have seen the spirit of a woman who disappears as soon as you approach, and even a ghost dog. If you place your car keys on the hood of your car, a girl appears and hides them. And if you turn your car off and try to turn it back on, good luck. At the very least, you'll get an engine error, or it might not turn back on at all. Just thought those were fun little tidbits to share.
Yeah, I've never actually been to BC, but I gotta say, not putting my keys on the hood of my car ever. That's spooky.
Well, that's it. After sharing a list of fun road trip destinations, I figured I would share 3 roads you probably don't want to drive on.
Nothing better than to just bring things down at the very end.
Yeah, here at It Came From the Maritimes, we end on a somber note, folks. Thank you so much for listening to us today. You can find us on social media, on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, at It Came From the Maritimes. We don't post there often, but on X and Blue Sky at ICFT Maritimes. If you have any Atlantic Canada folklore you would like to see covered in future episodes, or any spooky encounters of your own, email us at itcamefromthemaritimes@gmail.com. If you enjoy our podcast, please feel free to leave us a nice 5-star rating and review to help other people find us. Now we end each episode with a little folklore fact. Evan, do you have one for us today?
Yes, I do. This week's fact is, spilling salt is bad luck. Throw salt over your left shoulder to reverse it.
I'll certainly be doing that. Thanks for listening.
Bye.